Have you ever wanted to move to a different classroom? A different team? What about a different city? That is exactly what these immigrant women did, on a larger scale. Let their courage and perseverance be a reminder to you, rebel girls, that you should always fight for your beliefs, no matter where they take you. Yours, Elena Favilli.
Adelaide Herman, magician. Self-confidence and assurance are most essential to the successful magician. Born August 11th, 1853, died February 19th, 1932. Emigrated from England to the United States of America. Once upon a time, there was a girl with a flair for the dramatic. While other Victorian girls learned housekeeping skills, Adelaide practiced acrobatics, dance, and a new sport called trick cycling. One night, Adelaide saw a magic show in London that changed her life. The magician, Alexander Herman, known as Herman the Great, asked for a volunteer, and Adelaide eagerly raised her hand. The magician set her ring on fire and made it reappear on a ribbon tied around a dove's neck. A few months later, when Adelaide moved to New York City, she ran into Alexander again. They got married and together became one of the country's most successful magic acts. Herman the Great was the star, and Adelaide played supporting roles, including a dancer and a human cannonball. In 1896, Alexander suddenly died. Adelaide was left alone with their magic show, a warehouse of props and animals, and a mountain of debt. But soon it became clear that only one person had the experience to continue Herman the Great's legacy: Adelaide herself. For more than 30 years, Adelaide performed as the Queen of Magic. After a fire tore through her warehouse, Adelaide insisted she'd rise like a phoenix from the ashes. And she did. She continued to tour before finally retiring in her 70s.
Alice Guy Blanchet, filmmaker. There is nothing connected with the staging of a motion picture that a woman cannot do as easily as a man. Born July 1st, 1873, died March 24th, 1968. Emigrated from France to the United States of America. Once, there was a girl named Alice who spent her childhood crisscrossing the globe from France, her mother's home, to Chile, her father's home, to Switzerland, where she lived with her grandmother. When she grew up, Alice became a secretary at a camera company turned film studio. Filmmaking was a new and exciting art form. The very first films were nothing like today's movies. They showed people doing ordinary things, a group of workers simply leaving a factory, or a train racing along a track. Alice thought these films were boring and wondered, what if film could be used to tell a story? So she borrowed camera equipment and created her first motion picture, The Cabbage Fairy. It was only about 1 minute long, but it was one of the first films to tell a fictional story. Eventually, Alice became the studio's head of production and experimented with new ways to make films and add special effects. She married a fellow filmmaker, Herbert Blanchet, and they moved to the United States. In 1910, Alice opened her own film studio called the Solax Film Company and eventually built a state-of-the-art production studio. It was the largest film studio in the country. Herbert became the company's president so Alice could be free to make movies. She became the world's first woman filmmaker, creating around 1,000 films, many of which survive today. Alice made her last film in 1920 and was forgotten for a long time, but today's filmmakers owe a lot to this pioneering director and producer.
Angelica Rosianu, table tennis player. I preferred table tennis, or perhaps if you like, table tennis preferred me. Born October 15th, 1921, died February 21st, 2000.